actually just checking to see if Betsy's on Skype. Weave her in here.
The story concerns a monastery that had fallen upon hard times. Once a great order, as a result of waves of anti-monastic persecution in the 17th and 18th centuries and the rise of secularism in the 19th, all its branch houses were lost, and it had become decimated to the extent that there were only 5 monks left in the decaying mother house, the abbot and 4 others, all over 70 in age. Clearly, it was a dying order.
In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was a little hut that a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used as a hermitage. Many years of prayer and through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the old monks had become a bit psychic, so they always sensed when the rabbi was in his hermitage. The rabbi is in the woods. The rabbi is in the woods again, they would whisper to each other. As he agonized over the imminent death of his order, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the hermitage and to ask the rabbi if by some possible chance he could offer any advice that might save the monastery and his community.
The rabbi welcomed the abbot at his hut. But when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he explained. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It's the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." And so the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together, drank some schnapps. When they read parts of the Torah, they quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. They embraced each other. "It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said, "but I have still failed in my purpose of coming here. Is there nothing you can tell me? No piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?"
"No, I am sorry," the rabbi responded. "I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around him to ask, "Well, what did the rabbi say?" "He couldn't help," the abbot answered. "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, was that the Messiah is one of us. I don't know what he meant."
In the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. The Messiah is one of us? Could he possibly have meant one of us monks here at the monastery? If that's the case, which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he probably meant Father Abbot. He has been our leader for more than a generation. On the other hand, he might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light.
Certainly he could not have meant Brother Eldred. Eldred gets crotchety at times. But come to think of it, even though he is a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Eldred is virtually always right. Often very right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Eldred.
But surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then, almost mysteriously, he has a gift for somehow always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side. Maybe Philip is the Messiah.
Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did. Suppose I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me. I couldn't be that I couldn't be that much for you, could I?
As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect, on the off chance that one among them might be the Messiah. And on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect.
Because the forest in which it was situated was beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery to picnic on its tiny lawn, to wander along some of its paths, even now and then to go into the dilapidated chapel to meditate. As they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed the aura of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to radiate out from them and permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it.
Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery more frequently to picnic, to play, and to pray. They began to bring their friends to show them this special place, and their friends brought their friends.
Then it happened that some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them, then another, and another. So within a few years, the monastery had once again become a thriving order, and thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in the realm.
The remedy is to be found by connecting ourselves with more of ourselves.
One of the practices that is done, a couple of practices that are done in the Tibetan Vajrayana tradition and in the Mahayana tradition in Buddhism as well, is the practice of seeing all beings as having been your mother at some point. You know, this sense of you know, that we have lived countless inconceivable lives in the boundlessness of time, and that each person that you see driving down the interstate or walking down the street or watching YouTube or listening to the news, that each of those beings at some point had allowed you to be a little parasite in their body and didn't get rid of you and helped you through some period of time when you were completely helpless in her own clumsy, best she could kind of way, and showed you just great and infinite kindness. And now they're manifesting as your crabby neighbor, or as the belligerent whatever, or as, but I mean, just as a way to train the mind to align and attune, and you know, just like maybe so, you know, it's like you just don't know. But it's a profound practice, and I just invite you to experiment with that at some point. You know, walking through the Mission, or down Telegraph Avenue, or shopping in the co-op, or whatever it is that you do, or you know, just to just try aligning and attuning with that possibility and the quality of regard that comes from going from being totally mindless of other people to being mindful that they're there, to you know, not just regarding them with loving kindness, but regarding them with just a deep sense of honoring for the potential and the possible kindness that being may show to you.
And the converse of that, not only looking upon all beings as having at one time or in some future time, having that quality of the most intimate relation of a mother, having been inside their body having been made from their body, but also that you have that relationship, that each being has been your child or will be your child, that you are the mother. So it's both ways to look upon each being as a child, you know, as your offspring.
And it's really
That's
less
what all my
about.
relations mean.
And it's really less about is this true, and it's more about what would it be like to kind of align with the possibility of that quality of mutual regard, or of that quality of disregard from your own self. The other practice, which is another harmonic of this, is it's a practice within the Vajrayana tradition. This practice, seeing all beings as your mother, is more in the Mahayana tradition. The Vajrayana tradition, you would regard all beings as awakened beings, as Buddhas. And there would just be this deep sense of recognition that this being is manifesting the fully awakened mind and the radiance of infinite universal love and compassion.
And carrying that seed, that potential, whether we're baby Buddhas or not, or really big Buddhas, but just that every being is carrying that seed, that potential. Every being, without exception, that seed is within them already.
Yeah, and which is a beautiful thing, just to look at a cat or a caterpillar or somebody who's just really obnoxious and rude or what have you, and to just see that, in them is a place where they can kind of smile to themselves and know that they're awake. In each of us is a quality of clear presence that it can embrace whatever the stream of cartoons are that are running through that we identify with great compassion. And if we just push the pause button on the cartoons and the neuroses and the confusions and the stories and rest in the clear presence and the great compassion, then we're owned. And all beings, if we could just push the pause button on the stories that we live by and just be in the authenticity of who we really are really quite belovedly beautiful and beautiful, including you. And that we have the possibility to blossom more and more deeply into that. So just, invitation is just to explore this. Today could be just sort of like going to a really great Mother's Day potluck or smorgasbord with many pockets to like stuffed bagels. And some of what we share you'll actually chomp into and it will taste good. Some of it it's just not time for that one now for you, but it's in your pocket, Yeah, it's been loaded on your hard drive, and at some point, you just may feel a hunger for that one, and just kind of click that one open and give it a try, And so we just invite you to enjoy the feast today. And just to gather as much as you can and not feel compelled to have to fully unpack any of it today, but to just leave with the possibilities in front of you.